It wasn't me. And what I did, and there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. But please don't tell me I'm not remorseful, because I am. You don't, to go to bed every night to know that somebody passed away on your hands and your clock is a lot of weight on your shoulder for not just being here for the rest of my life. I have to take this with me.
I didn't say that you weren't remorseful. I said that you didn't express any remorse. You know,
because I don't know how to. I don't know. It's you. I've never been in this position before. How do I open up and start talking about how I took somebody's life?
Just like you're doing right now.
There's no right way to say it.
You're
It's an
absolutely
uncomfortable subject, and you have to talk about it, and you had to pull it out of me because I didn't know. I didn't know how to start that.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call here a fake cry. We should take out the mini violin for her attempt to show emotion, to show empathy, something which I think you will see as you watch this hearing she clearly does not have. She starts off her opening statement trying to manipulate and trick the parole board. She does not mention anywhere the death that she caused by giving her friend narcotics that, as you'll see throughout this parole hearing, clearly was going to kill her friend. No, instead, she thinks that she can skate around the issue, and when she is finally confronted by the parole board, she puts on this show. You know, her personality, I'm afraid to say this, but it's almost as if Sarah Boone and Jodi Arias would have had a baby. She has that mix of psychopathy, that mix of ego where she thinks she's just God's gift to the world, and really, she is none of that. And here she is up for parole. Now, we will hear statements from the victims, and we will see this parole hearing play out, and I'll share more details at the end.
Christina Ferrer, 431520.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application of Christina Ferrer, inmate number 431520. This hearing was sentenced to 10 years suspended and 6 years and 5 years probation for sales of narcotics. As of today, we're like parole eligibility date September 7th, 2025. There is victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender is currently in the Tier 2 program. Utilizing the women's risk WRNA, the offender's overall score for sitting falls within the moderate range. Ms. Ferrer, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hi, I'm Christina. I think I deserve to make parole just as I was deserving to sit down for 3 years for the mistakes I made. I learned a lot while being here, and I believe all the tools that I've used here, which I feel like has been a lot of great practice to take out in the real world to be successful. There is no choice. I have to be successful. I have a family that's waiting on me. I have animals. I have a career that I would like to get back. And the only way that's going to happen is if I do everything right, and I'm ready to do that. I've had tons of practice from learning how to walk away from situations. I've learned how to be patient. I was an athlete, so I know how to be structured. I know routine. I've just learned a lot about myself being here, things I didn't even know. I went to school to be a dental hygienist right before I got arrested, and I was successful. I went to NVCC for my associates. I got my BA from WestCon, and then I continued and went to Lincoln to get my dental hygiene license, which I did get, but unfortunately I was unable to use it because I got into trouble and came to Niantic. And I want to do everything I can to get back my whole life that I've been working for, was to be successful, have a career, take care of myself, take care of my family, and I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, that's your opening statement.
Yes.
So what happens here is that we've read about your background in this case.
Yep.
We've read about what you've done since you've been in
Yep.
your interview with the parole officer.
Yep.
And based upon that, we have some questions.
Okay.
When we're done with questions, your portion of the hearing will be over. You can just sit there at that point. We're going to
Okay.
hear from the Office of Victim Services.
Okay.
And when they conclude, we're going to talk about your case and give you a decision, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
We'll start questions this morning with Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, Ms. Ferrer, I'm curious to know, I'm happy that you believe that you deserve parole. As you know, I'm sure many people that sit in that seat believe that they do as well. I'm curious to know what you believe you've done to increase the likelihood of your returning to the community and staying out of trouble. You've had your degrees prior to going in.
Yep.
You have had family support. You had, you've been in school.
Yep.
And you had your animals and I'm just curious to know what have you done?
Here, you're asking?
Yes, there.
Well, I'm a worker, so that's always been something I've done here and there. I've had a job since I've been here, and I've had the
Doing
best
what?
jobs.
Doing what?
I've done 4 North. I worked as a common area in 1 North with Captain Lark. I was a
Doing
laundry
what?
worker.
Doing what in 1 North?
Oh, 1 North, the common area worker, which is that,
You mean
which is.
cleaning?
No, you take care, you answer to inmates all day. Whatever they need, you have to get. There's a supply closet, there's tissue, their chow, their diets, if there's a wrong tray.
Okay.
So having that job alone was tons of experience with patients, learning how not to react, not to let people upset you, how to deal with stress, how to deal with your emotions, because you have to kind of somewhat be a people pleaser in that type of position.
Okay, what else?
Laundry, I worked on the tier for about 1.5 years and did everybody's laundry.
Okay.
Customer service, I was laundry work, I actually worked at a laundry department when I was in college. When you want to talk about people complaining all day about their clothing and being patient with that as well, not letting yourself get upset about somebody missing a sock. And I know it sounds like
so
little
Ms.
things.
Ferrer, and I apologize for cutting you off.
Yes.
But tell aside from work, what else have you done?
I've been to group meetings. In the middle of our building, we have groups with Ann. It's about 45 minutes. We attend those.
What are you meeting?
Yeah, she has different topics on different days where we sit in a group and you discuss what you're feeling, your problems. It's just it's a daily, weekly thing that every building holds. And that's with the counselor of the unit. I signed up for Voices and I signed up for AA. There's a waiting list. It took me 3 years just to get into tier 2. And I was persistent, constantly wrote, and it's a wait list.
So you were in tier 4, I thought.
No, I'm in tier 2, and it took
You're
me.
in tier 2 now, but I thought did they want you to take tier 4 or no?
No, it's tier 2.
Okay.
And that's addiction services on the west side.
Because I'm curious to know why you're in prison.
I'm in prison because I made the worst mistake of my life, pushing myself too hard. When I was in school, I always wanted the next best thing. I thought having my bachelor's wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted my income to be larger. I've never been satisfied. I pushed myself. There were signs that I should have stopped. I should have relaxed. I should have been proud of the accomplishments I was making, but for some reason, it just wasn't enough for me. And now I wanted to be a dental hygienist, and there was a point where I had a breaking point and I should have just stopped. I got injured, so I ended up on prescription medications from a doctor, and we tried doing everything else besides going that route. But I was so determined to finish the program, which probably I should have stopped. And I ended up with back pain, and then the prescriptions led to a whole new world and a whole new me that I've never met.
So why are you in prison?
I'm in prison because I made a mistake of selling my narcotics.
You were
Stemming
selling
from,
Okay. And as a result of your selling those narcotics, because I didn't hear you mention anything about the reason why they found out you were selling drugs. You didn't mention anything about a victim or anything about a person dying, nothing.
okay, I didn't, well, I was gonna get to that part, but yes, there was a life taken. Absolutely. That's the biggest part of this, why I'm here, is because I sold prescriptions and someone lost their life.
Well, that should have been the thing that you led with, though, because you didn't. You talked about how much work you've done, how you were in school, everything about you and what you did, but nothing about this victim. Even in your opening statement, you failed to mention that. And so tell us how this person got the drugs. How did that transaction go?
From me, we were getting high together. So we were kind of, you would say we were getting all partners, and we used the same drug, which was Percocets.
Because
And
I think when you were interviewed by the officer, you said that you didn't sell drugs to her, that she bought drugs for the two of you to use. And
yeah, well, I sold my prescriptions as well to her, and we also used them together, and we also
that's not
bought
what
drugs.
you told the officer. So let me just explain this to you, Ms. Ferrer, because this exercise that we're having here is to assess your suitability for early release. And
Right.
one of the things that we look at is accountability. And we want to make sure that the person who is before us recognizes that what they did was wrong, and in hopes that they will avoid the same behaviors in the future. So accountability is one thing. And that where we also look for a person who has been rehabilitated. And the way we assess rehabilitation is through program participation, refraining from disciplinary infractions, our discussion here, based on some of the answers. And everything that I'm hearing from you really is not showing me it's not showing me that you really have shown very much evidence of offender change. While I don't know when your interview occurred with the officer, but I think that at that time, I think you knew that it was important to speak about the victim that died as a result of your drug exchange. And yet, but you didn't mention that until I brought that up. You talked about going to meetings and working and all that stuff, and I'm happy that you're in that. And it sounds like it's helping you. But I didn't hear you mention anything about how remorseful you were for selling her those narcotics, and how you want to apologize to the family, or none of that kind of thing. And you haven't completed the treatment to address your substance abuse problem. You're currently in the tier 2, is that correct?
Yeah.
When are you slated to finish that?
In November.
And is aftercare also in that facility?
And so what is aftercare supposed to mean?
It's once you're done with the tier 2 program, it's a continuation to show you really how to refrain from relapsing when you're out in the community.
Tier 4, if I was to move to the east side, there's nothing after tier 2 besides just all the other groups I've signed up for.
And so you're in Voices. You're on a wait list for Voices.
For Voices and for AA. And I wrote to tier 4, but it's just, I'm a level 2, so I should be there. And I know there's a lot more help on that side.
I think you said in your opening statement that you deserve to be released just as you deserved your sentence. And I'm not sure that you deserve to be released just yet. I really believe that there's more work that you need to do to increase your chances of success when you're released out into the community. Because being stressed and trying to finish school and all those things that you spoke to us about shouldn't be, using drugs should not have been your coping mechanism to get through all that, and so.
It never has been though. I went through 32 years of my life not using. So
Right.
at 35, I did. So this isn't something that's been a lifestyle. And of course, I'm remorseful. It's very uncomfortable to talk about it. It's hard to say, I took a life. Of course, I take accountability. It was my fault. We were using together. She was buying from me. We were going to bodegas and buying drugs together. It was a whole bunch of things that were all wrong. I don't know how to start with the family. The family never wanted to hear from me. I've tried writing. I've got letters back. I've had my mom reach out. They said, it wasn't me. And what I did, and there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. But please don't tell me I'm not remorseful, because I am. To go to bed every night to know that somebody passed away on your hands and your clock is a lot of weight on your shoulder for not just being here for the rest of my life. I have to take this with me.
I didn't say that you weren't remorseful. I said that you didn't express any remorse.
Because I don't know how to. I don't know. It's you. I've never been in this position before. How do I open up and start talking about how I took somebody's life?
Just like you're doing right now.
There's no right way to say it.
You're
It's an
absolutely right.
uncomfortable subject, and you have to talk about it, and you had to pull it out of me because I didn't know how to start that.
Just take a few deep breaths. I understand it's very difficult to discuss. I do. But unfortunately, it's something that we needed to address because we can't just sweep that under the rug.
No, I know that. I just didn't know how to talk about it. I'm so sorry.
I understand. And I didn't mean for you to become emotional. I just wanted to.
I'm sorry. I should have thought about my opening statement first. I just didn't know how to start with saying that. I never wanted to hurt anybody. I like to inspire people. I like to make people feel better about themselves. I don't put people down, and I never discuss much about what I've done with people here because they use it against you.
Yeah.
And there's not much therapy I've been able to have to talk about it with anybody here because everything is a group setting.
Right.
But inmates everywhere, and you get very discouraged when you do open, and then everybody starts talking about you, and it's a lot. But
I can understand that. I can understand that. But when you meet with mental health, do you have one-on-one sessions with them or no?
No, I go in and we talk about medications and stuff like that, but. And I'm very scared to go home. I'm petrified that I'm going to fail. I can't make any promises even to myself, but I know I'm going to try. And I never wanted to hurt anybody. I'm not hurtful. I'm not spiteful. I'm not.
And so listen to this, okay?
Okay.
Take a couple deep breaths. Just stop. I know it's a very emotional topic, and just I understand that you're fighting within yourself over what you've done, but the family of this victim has suffered tremendously as well. So it's really important that you not pretend like this didn't happen, and that you acknowledge it. So I do appreciate you doing that. My next thing is that we want you to go home as well. We do not want you to fail when you return to the community.
Right.
We want you to have the best chances as possible to return to the community and do well and never return to prison again. But in order to do that, you have to work on yourself where you are. And I don't think that you've done enough of that just yet to make sure that you do return and never do this again, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you've done nothing. I'm not saying that you don't feel remorseful. I am saying that there is more work for you to do in order to show us that you're ready that you're strong enough to return to the community and do the right thing, okay? Don't beat yourself up. Listen, this is terrible. It's horrible, but the only thing you can do is say, I'm sorry. And, just as you've done and do your best to make sure that maybe another family is not in this position ever again. Whatever you can do, whatever kind of advocating you can do for people who are, survivors of substance abuse, or, you know what I mean? Something in that way to show that, I'm doing the very best that I can to prevent others from hurting like you hurt and like this family. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Richard. Thank you.
Board Member Keys.
Thank you for answering my colleagues' questions. And I think I was concerned a little with your opening statement as well. I'm not trying to pick on you in any way, but it sounded like there was still some discrepancy in the information. But then when you started crying, and it sounded like then you started being more honest about the role that you had taken with it. And so it's good. Obviously, this is extraordinarily painful, like my colleague said. But I think if you can allow yourself to be fully honest with yourself of what happened and your role in it, fully honest, that you did not use together that day, that you sold to her, those, because that doesn't go with what the witnesses said. So fully honest with yourself. And if you can process it while sober, then when you go out into the community, I think you'll be in a much stronger place and hopefully have some more confidence in your abilities, because to be able to process something as egregious and horrible as this, sober, it would really mean that you're on a better foot for going out into the community. So I did just want to really quickly say that. Speaking of sobriety in the community, I just have 2 questions. Have you thought about how you plan to remain sober in the community? What groups you want to try to connect with? Anything like that? Have you kind of made a plan for yourself?
I want to get in contact with C-Cars because I've dealt with them before for a sponsor. My mom moved. She moved and got a condo in a different town, so we're in new places, people, and things. It's Warrington, and there's McDonough House, so I was going to reach out to them because I'm going to need a lot of counseling.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy walking back into society. It's going to be shocking. I don't know what to expect, but I know I need support. And my mom works from home, so I'm very lucky to have that. So I have 24 hours support, and it might sound like too much, but it's going to be everything I need.
Good.
So those are the support groups, and I want to give back to the community, and it would probably animal shelters. My mom does dog rescuing, so I like to be a part of that type of stuff. We've rescued from different countries before for animals, so I do have some good things to keep me in the right lane when the time comes.
Good. I think that's a good plan. I think knowing it's going to be scary, knowing it's going to be hard are positive signs for me, because it means that you're not living in a fantasy world. It is going to be difficult, but sounds like you have thought about it and you do have plans. And I think helping rescue animals is a wonderful idea, because you can see the power you can have on helping another and how they can improve over time with consistency and love. I think I'm okay. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Keys. At this time, we're going to go to the Office of Victim Services.
Okay.
So your portion of the hearing, you just can listen at this point, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Vasquez, could you help us, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, board members. We have the victim's family. They're connected via conference call, and they would like to address the board. To the family, this is the opportunity for you to express to the board members your wishes and concerns. At this time, please unmute your microphone by pressing *6, and you may begin when you're ready. In the order that we're going to have, the sister's going to read a statement, and then I'm going to be reading 3 other statements. Thank you. You may begin.
Your Honor, in May of 2019, Christina Ferrer sold narcotics to my sister, Jennifer Montgomery, and then texted her, "I promise you won't die, LOL." Ferrer knew exactly what she was doing. That dose turned out to be lethal. The fentanyl-laced heroin she gave Jennifer contained 3 times the fatal amount, killing her instantly. Your Honor, Ferrer's promise meant nothing. My sister's gone, and that's why we're all here today. Ferrer was arrested 2 months after Jennifer's death, but bonded out, spending only a month in jail. Due to COVID-related delays, she remained free for years. During that time, she continued to disregard the law and human life. Over the next 2.5 years, she was arrested for shoplifting at the local Ace Hardware and for failing to appear in court. On the night before her trial, she even attempted to overdose to avoid facing the consequences of her actions. My family and I attended numerous court dates where we committed to seeking justice for our beloved Jen. Throughout the legal process, Ferrer showed no remorse at all. She did not ever try to reach out to us. In fact, she even made our family feel threatened and uncomfortable, staring us down in court, even blowing us a kiss. Our victim's advocate, Danielle, personally witnessed these disturbing instances. After 3 years and 4 months of delays, Ferrer was finally sentenced in December of 2022. She received 6 years in prison for the sale. While we were relieved to see some accountability, we did not feel this sentence was fair. Our Jennifer is gone forever because of Ferrer's choices, and 6 years hardly feels like justice. Now, Ferrer has served less than 3 years of her sentence, and I understand there's discussion for potential parole. I want to make it very clear. I do not support parole for Christina Ferrer. My family and I firmly believe that she should serve her full sentence behind bars. The pain and loss she caused can never be undone, and she has shown no genuine remorse for the life she took. Thank you for taking the time to consider our family's feelings and considerations during this difficult process.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. I'm going to read 3 statements now. Good morning, board members. My name is Marie. I've recently learned that Christina Ferrer is applying for an accelerated release for murdering my daughter, Jennifer Montgomery. And I felt like my heart was being ripped from my chest and like she was being murdered again in front of me. Christina Ferrer sold straight up fentanyl to my daughter and then sent her a text message, quotes, "To do all those bags and they won't kill you, LOL," end of quotes. She knew that the drugs were straight up poison, yet she sold them to my daughter and then encouraged her to do them, all via text message. To me, this is a pure evil act, and that needs to be punished to the full extent that the state allows. After selling the drugs to my daughter that killed her, she went on to be arrested 8 more times while awaiting a trial. This is not somebody who deserves early release. The state and my family agreed right before her trial, if she was willing to accept the state's terms of 5 years imprisonment, that the other 8 arrests would not be pursued. Christina Ferrer went on the run and didn't show up for her next hearing. They didn't find her until she was admitted to the hospital on an overdose. The state added 1 year to her sentence for the no-show and going on the run, which my family agreed to. Acting good in prison does not constitute early release for murdering Jennifer. 3 years served is not enough time for killing my beloved Jennifer, and I do not accept it. Our family is very close, and without Jennifer in it, all of our lives have been greatly affected. My wife and my relationships have been terribly affected. My 2 other children are lost without Jennifer. She was wonderful, and she was a wonderful daughter, and we loved her, and she loved her life and her family. We are all destroyed every day by her absence. She's forever gone because of the actions of Christina Ferrer. Please consider my broken family and Jennifer's tremendous loss of her life, which she loved so much, and deny Christina Ferrer early release. Sincerely, Matt Montgomery. Dear board members, I feel that Christina Ferrer should stay incarcerated for the deaths of my sister, Jennifer Montgomery. She knowingly murdered her out of spite. My family will never be the same. Christina Ferrer is a threat to the community. Thank you. Dear board members, I am writing this letter to you to please do not consider inmate 431500, Christina Ferrer, to not be granted an early parole program now or in the future. This girl has put myself and my family through enough. She is not an outstanding citizen, and she needs to stay in New York for her full sentence, which still in my book is not enough. My beautiful daughter, Jen Montgomery, was taken from me because of her. Giving her straight fentanyl and texted her to do it, saying, promise you won't die. I spent many months going to court for her court dates as she sat behind us, glaring and talking under her breath about us, which is documented. She has no remorse when she was arrested in July of 2019 and spent a little time in jail until she bonded herself out. She was arrested 8 times from July 2019 to December 2022. Larceny, suspended license, robbed a liquor store and an Ace Hardware in Wolcott, and a couple's second-degree failure to appear. The day that she was supposed to report to court to go to jail, she did not show up. Instead, she was at the hospital, and the court had to reschedule for the next day with a guard at the hospital door to escort her back to court. So I am asking you, please do not grant her any parole, because she will not allow any rules. She will not follow any rules, pardon me, and go back to her way of life as a non-outstanding citizen. Thank you. Thank you, board members. This is all that I have for this case.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez, and thank you to the family for weighing in on this case. And certainly we're incredibly sorry for your loss. Board Member Barry.
Thank you, Sir Chair. So, in terms of facts, it appears that Ms. Ferrer is considered a low risk to recidivate. She doesn't have an extensive criminal history, but she does have a history that is very concerning. She's a multi-state offender. She's received 5 disciplinary infractions this period of incarceration, and she has completed no programs to address her substance abuse and her criminogenic needs. I have listened to the input from the victim's family, and I extend my sincere condolences for their loss and the pain that they suffered. It's evident that Ms. Ferrer feels the pain too. You know, as she said, it's a very heavy burden to carry, knowing that you killed someone or someone died because of something that you gave them. The fact of the matter is that Ms. Ferrer is not serving a life sentence, and she's not in prison. She's in prison for sentence. It's evident that she too struggles with substance abuse. And I would like to see her get the help that she needs while she's there, in hopes that she will be successful when she returns to the community. So while she rates low, she has not demonstrated a level of change, in my opinion, that would warrant her being released based on her poor institutional adjustment and her inadequate program participation. So I would deny her today for discretionary parole, but I would be willing to rehear her after she's completed some additional programming.
Board Member Tees.
I'm in the same, I'd also say injury and impact to the victim standards, I may.
So I am of the same thought. A couple of things. One is that we're in tier 2 right now. Voices is a program that deals with understanding of victim impact and what happened in the case, and more than likely a good place to start with the expression of what Ms. Ferrer needs to process. The release plan, I appreciate what's there. I'd like to see it spelled out a little bit better in terms of taking a look at what exactly she'll do for a recovery plan. What are we going to do on a daily basis for that to occur? The release plan, there's some good information there. Yeah, I would take a look at rather than just say we'll look for work when released. Give us some kind of idea on where you're headed with that. And definitely, I mean, the DR history, you know, we go back to, you know, in the last 2 years, there's been 2 disciplinary reports, one being out of place, the other having too many blankets and sheets for a contraband B ticket. So I would encourage that to happen. So when are you thinking? Are you thinking October of next year? Are you thinking 6 months? Are you thinking, what are we thinking?
So originally I had 18 months. But and that was honestly because I knew that we were going to have some victim input and I wanted to respect the victims. And I still am in that position where I want to honor, you know, the victim's requests. But I would do maybe January of 2027. In that way, she could have solidify a release plan and refrain from incurring infractions, as you said, Sir Chair, and just continue to work on herself to be the best possible person she can be when she's released.
That would be a good thing, having some kind of supervision prior to release on probation.
Yes.
So what I heard was injury and impact, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate institutional program participation.
I would also add the nature and circumstance, even though I know that that's not going to change, but it is, you know, we see sales cases all the time. We don't know that people have died, which we don't get sued, but you know.
Yeah. So regarding Christina Ferrer 431520, I move to deny parole at this time based upon the nature and circumstance of the current offense, injury and impact to the victim and victim's family, inadequate institutional program participation, and poor institutional adjustment. And to rehear this case in January of 2027, we would suggest that you complete your OAP and any other positive programming that you can take, develop a recovery plan that's more substantial. It's based in daily recovery and a release plan that may help identify a little bit further employment opportunities close to where you'll be paroling to, if that panel agrees at that time that you've done what you need to do in order to make or be suitable for early release.
There's a second.
And there's a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And Ms. Ferrer, you've heard our concerns for you, and we hope that you get out there and continue to do what you need to do and come back and see us in January of 27. Thank you.
This concludes hearing for Christina Ferrer, inmate number 1520.
So what did I tell you? Was I wrong? Did we just not watch one of the most manipulative, gosh, just like disgusting people have a parole hearing? Look at her sit there like that, pouting, throwing a tantrum, wondering, what did I do wrong? How did I not? I mean, and now she'll be coming back, putting the victims through this, to even think it's like right after Christmas, they're going to have to attend another parole hearing, not know if this monster is going to get released. And we'll cover it. As long as Connecticut doesn't stop us from showing these hearings, we'll cover it. It'll be in the return of playlist. If you're familiar with this channel, you'll know
Ms. Ferrer, you're all
that it's not
set.
an
You can
empty
head back.
statement.
I'll get this in writing in a couple days.
When you think back to her opening statement, again, you would have no idea what she did. And she planned it. She thought it out. She thought that she can come to the parole board because what's in her jacket is not, it doesn't say that she killed someone in her jacket. What's in her jacket is that it says that she has a sale of narcotics. That's the official plea deal that she took. It's sale of narcotic substance. That's it. So when someone asks her, she's just that's it. That was the plea deal. Now, when you have context of the crime, you know that someone was killed. You know that she sent text messages saying, "Take all of it. You won't die. LOL." I mean, who says that? And it's like this. It's cases like this where you want the DA to prosecute someone like this to the fullest. And a judge gives 10 years, suspended after 6, probation 5. So the maximum she's going to serve is 6 years. And what I can't understand about this is, as the family stated, as she was out, how many arrests she had? I forget the number. Was it 8? And she was actually, and some of them stuck. A Class C she has, felony, conspiracy to commit larceny, and she has where she absconded. She didn't show up to her trial. Why wouldn't a judge, and this, when they see what this person's doing while they're waiting or they're out on bond? I mean, first of all, why wasn't their bond revoked? And why didn't a judge throw the book at her? Especially with all of the information about how she was staring at them during the trial. And I believe it. I mean, the look in this woman's eyes, there's nothing there. It's like these dark holes. You can feel the evil. How is a 6-year sentence with parole? The verdict was 9/15/2022. She's sitting here parole 10 October 2025. It's just the strangest thing, this light on crime approach where they have no empathy for the victims. And I don't have, I lost my first cousin who is like my best friend. He was sold something. This was before Fetty even existed. This was over 20 years ago. maybe 23 years ago or something. 20, and he just thought he was like buying like a painkiller or something. And he wasn't like a hardcore, he was just experimenting. And it wasn't. It was something stronger, and it killed him. And the kid who did it, he left the country, disappeared. No one was ever arrested. and it's sick. And as you can see, it's not just someone who's, oh, there's a mistake. I mean, you could tell there's evil there. There's evil. This isn't. And the family, they dropped the mic. They laid it out the way it was. And it seemed to me like the parole board was buying her fake remorse, which is ridiculous. Like, you do this for a living. How can you not see a fake cry? How can you not have the insight, have the life experience? I mean, first of all, it's a visual. You can see it. There were no tears. We have seen fake criers that can make tears happen. There was nothing. And the acting was so dramatic, so over the top, so obviously, clearly fake and manipulation. The parole board should not have given her any credit for, I could see you're worked up. I could see the emotion. BS. And call her out on it. You know, Miss Bonnie Jackson from Louisiana would have called her out on that. Other parole board members we see would call, I mean, it was so clearly fake. And then she goes into these excuses about how it's hard for me to talk about it. It's like, shut up. We know you came here attempting to manipulate us, attempting to make us think that you're just here for a sales charge. And you're Sarah Boone. You're so smart. You had straight A's in high school. You were an athlete. You know structure. Well, that facade came down real quick when the victim spoke, didn't it? And she's going to come back and put the victims through it again. Her maximum release date's 9/3/2028. This is the problem with plea deals when you give someone a plea deal. Sale of I don't know, take it to trial. I mean, one never knows how a trial will go, but surely there must have been enough to get her on. Or you could just say, like, a judge should have given her so much more time than just 6 years. With the record that she had while she was out on the street, she wasn't in programs taken care of. She wasn't in AA. She was not, she flunked. She flunked it all. Anyways, I'll leave you with final words from the victims.
Your Honor, in May of 2019, Christina Ferrer sold narcotics to my sister, Jennifer Montgomery, and then texted her, "I promise you won't die, LOL." Ferrer knew exactly what she was doing. That dose turned out to be lethal. The fentanyl-laced heroin she gave Jennifer contained 3 times the fatal amount, killing her instantly. Your Honor, Ferrer's promise meant nothing. My sister's gone, and that's why we're all here today. Ferrer was arrested 2 months after Jennifer's death, but bonded out, spending only a month in jail. Due to COVID-related delays, she remained free for years. During that time, she continued to disregard the law and human life. Over the next 2.5 years, she was arrested for shoplifting at the local Ace Hardware and for failing to appear in court. On the night before her trial, she even attempted to overdose to avoid facing the consequences of her actions. My family and I attended numerous court dates where we committed to seeking justice for our beloved Jen. Throughout the legal process, Ferrer showed no remorse at all. She did not ever try to reach out to us. In fact, she even made our family feel threatened and uncomfortable, staring us down in court, even blowing us a kiss. Our victim's advocate, Danielle, personally witnessed these disturbing instances. After 3 years and 4 months of delays, Ferrer was finally sentenced in December of 2022. She received 6 years in prison for the sale. While we were relieved to see some accountability, we did not feel this sentence was fair.